What's going on, my fourth grade family? This is Mr. J, the kiddos math and science teacher. I wanted to tune in real quick and teach a little bit of what we taught in topic 10. Okay, I sent the kiddos with this practice assessment. Now, this practice assessment is exactly the same as the test. It's very similar to the test. What they do is they switch the wordings and the word problems and then in the numbers, obviously, right? So they could get a better assessment. But they have this to complete. And if they bring this completed, this would count as a point towards their test. So, for example, if they have 10 questions in the test and they get one of them wrong, this would count as one of them wrong. Okay? This here is the other sheet that I sent the kiddos with. Okay? So this sheet is a bit more better to understand. Okay, we have the two ways that we've learned, right? Multiplying fractions by whole numbers by fractions, which is what we're learning here in topic 10. They teach you the two ways, and then they give you problems to practice. Okay, so what the way that I taught the kids, I taught them the easiest ways that I've kind of like I noticed that they understand better were these two here. So they have a repeated addition, which is fraction times a whole. Okay, we got the fraction times a whole. Here we have 1/4 times 8. 1/4 times 8. What does that mean? 1/4 times 8 means that I need 8 1/4. Okay, so what we're doing is we're spreading apart this multiplication equation into addition, which is called repeated addition. All right? If you add the numerators, you'll get 8. The 4 doesn't need to get added because that is just representing the amount of equal parts you have. So the 4 doesn't get added, it just gets transferred over. Denominator never changes. All you do is just add the top. So it'll be 8/4. That's an improper fraction, right? That's a fraction greater than a whole, right? A whole would be 4/4, but now you have 8/4. Okay, so you take that whole out, that's 1, then you're left with 4/4. 4/4 is another whole, which gives you 2 wholes. Okay, again, 4/4 means you have 4 pieces, 4 equal pieces, and they're all shaded, all filled. So now you have 1 whole. Okay, then after you subtract that 4/4 from 8/4, okay, if you do that subtraction, 8/4 minus 4/4, you get 4/4. So now with that 4/4 you have left, you could also make another whole. So if you look at it, you have 1 whole here that you took out, then you had 1 whole left. You subtract that whole again. Now you have 0, right? You took out all the holes you needed. So you have 1 whole, 2 holes. That's why 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay? So that's repeated addition. Okay? And you see it as the model here. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. This would equal a full pi. Okay? Then you go 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. This will also equal a full pi. So that would equal 2 wholes. All right? So that's how it's pictured here. Now, fraction of a whole is a little different, right? So I presented the fraction of a whole like this. I have 8 people. Let's just not look at the pizzas for now. I have 8 people, right? And let's just start off, out of those 8 people, I need half to go to the right. I need half of those people to go to the right. So if I tell you how many are on the right, you should tell me 4. Because half of 8 is 4. Okay? But now I have 8 people again. And I need 1/4 of those 8 people to the right. How many of those people are on the right now? I just need 1/4 of them. So that is pretty much what fraction of a whole means. You're taking a fraction of a certain amount of people or a certain amount of things or items. Okay, so in this case, for example, let's go into this problem here. Look, we have, right, it says, I'm gonna read it for you. It says Kimberly spent 3/4 of her $12 weekly allowance on a movie ticket. 3/4 of her $12 weekly allowance on a movie ticket. How much did the ticket cost? They drew it out. $12, right? Right? You have 3, 3, 3, and 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? And what they did is they looked at the fraction. The fraction is going to help you. Okay? Look at that denominator. So out of those $12, they have to make 4 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they made 4 equal groups. Okay? So now that you made 4 equal groups using that denominator, you're going to now exit or scratch. Okay, I got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. So 3 out of 4. So how much money, okay, how much money did she spend, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9 on that movie ticket. Okay, so again, you're taking a fraction of a whole. Let's go into the pizzas now. I have 8 pizza pies here. Okay, they're not in a fraction yet. They're not in groups yet. I just have 8 random pizzas, right? Wholes, pies. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce the fraction. So I have 8 pies. I'm going to give you a fraction, 1/4. I need 1/4 of those 8 pizza pies. So that fraction is going to help you now group those pies so then you could know how many pies 1/4 is out of the 8. So I have 8 full pies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now I'm going to group them according to that denominator. Okay? I'm going to group them in 4 groups. 4 equal groups. So I made 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. Now that I have grouped my pizza pies equally, right, using my denominator, now I'm going to go and try to solve it. Now I need only 1/4 of the 8 pies. I understand. Sometimes the pictures will confuse you. But let's say, okay, now I have 4 groups. Okay? But they want you to do this first. They want you to group them first according to that denominator, according to that fraction. Right now, that fraction is telling me that out of 4 groups, I need to shade 1. Or I need to take 1. Or I ate 1 group, right? So if you recall, there was 2 pies in each group. I'm just going to eat 1/4. 1/4. Out of 4, just 1. Okay? How many pies were in that 1 group? 2. Okay? The crazy thing about this is that it gives you the same answer. If you look at this equation and this equation, it gives you the same answer. Okay? But look at this wording in the word problem. It says Esteban, right? Esteban's football team practices yoga 3 times a week for 2/3 of an hour. That should give you a clue. Okay, 3 times a week. So they need 3 of the 2/3 of an hour. 3 times a week. Okay, 3 times a week. So what they need is 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. So 2/3, 3 times. Okay, so that would be this strategy on the top. Okay, repeated addition. All right, see how they word it differently? Well, now look at this one here. Look at number 3. A farmer has 48 chickens. Out of those chickens, out of the 48, right, 3/8 of them are black. 3/8 of them are black. So now we're looking at this strategy here. Because they're giving you a bunch of chickens, a whole group of chickens, 48 of them. And now they want you to grab a fraction from those 48. Okay? So 48 chickens, 3/8 of them are black. So that fraction right there, 3/8, that's going to help you group these 48 chickens. How many groups do you need? 8. Okay? After you group these chickens into 8 equal groups, then you could shade in the fraction. Which is 3/8. So after you distribute the chickens into your 8 equal groups, how do you get 8? Because the denominator tells you it's 8. So you make your 8 equal groups. You distribute the chickens evenly. It has to be equally, right? Into the 8 groups. And then you start to demonstrate the fraction. So after you distribute the chickens, then you start crossing out 3 out of 8 groups. And then they're going to ask you, how many chickens are black? Well, you look at 3/8 of the chickens. You'll be 6, 6, and 6. Right? Because 8 times 6 is 48. So there will be 6 chickens in each group. 3 out of 8 would be 6, 6, and 6, which is 18 chickens. Okay? Again, that is a fraction of a whole. And I demonstrated the kiddos. I demonstrated that using their stations. You see that there is 1, 2, 3, 4 stations, right? Each station has 2 desks. And you could do that at home. There's a 5th station there, but I never counted that one. Okay? You could do it with chairs. You could do it with cookies. You could do it with anything. So it's a little bit complicated. We've been working on it. I've been trying to word it so they could understand it. And yeah, we're trying. We're trying. So tomorrow is the test. There is makeup. So if I see that they need to make up or they struggle a little bit, then I will kind of reteach and then retake. Okay. But again, have them finish this here if they can. So hopefully you get to see this video. It's late, guys. I'm sorry. I'm stuttering. I'm tripping over my words. I'm sorry. But if you could please watch this video, go over the 2 strategy with them. See if they better understand it. If you understand it, and if you don't understand it, just reach out. I'll try to clarify that for you. That is all. I'm sorry to post this late, but hopefully you could get it, and hopefully it's some help. All right, guys. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.